This is going to be a fairly typical slot canyon. I hate to say that because they're all super unique, but when it comes to like looking up a slot canyon online, this is what you're going to find. Something with the same kind of structure, same kind of colors, work. The thing that makes this super, super unique, out of all the slot canyons in this area, I've been to about 30 of them now, there's only 2 in the area that look or have anything quite like this. And this canyon has petroglyphs in it. Don't go too far, you'll forget where the petroglyphs are.
Don't worry.
So here, you can see them if you're looking. Do you guys see them at all? Anywhere? That's okay.
No.
Most people can't. That's all right. Up here at the very top, you see where these bushes are and this white stuff is. That's calcium. And so if you come straight down from that where these holes are in the wall, those are from a shotgun. Those have nothing to do with the petroglyphs. Okay. But if you come straight down from those to where this red rock meets this black lichen line, do you see them right there? There's about 12 of them right there. Nothing?
No.
Here, look. You're pointing right at them. Watch this.
Okay, I thought maybe
See
that
that?
might have been it.
Yeah, there's those guys. There's a person. There's some wild horses right there. There's a great big like person shape. I'll come back to that guy. And there's like a stick figure dog there. Here, where that circle is, you can see like a circle, like a dot, and then a little
very
squiggly line.
faint.
They're super, super faint. They're chipped in there.
Okay.
Native Americans did that about 1,500 years ago. And this would have been essentially like a billboard, okay? This area specifically would have been a very, very dangerous place for them. Why do you think that is? Flooding. It doesn't have to rain here. It can look just like this. Nice blue skies and sunny. Up there on those big white cliffs, it could be storming like a bastard. And all that water could be coming right down through here because this is where it funnels, right? And as it comes through here, it flows out of there. Can you guess how many inches it takes to cause 7 feet of water to move through this canyon?
Only like 3 or 4?
Oh, that's a fuckload of water, pal. 3 or 4 inches? That's crazy.
I guess maybe, yeah.
Half an inch? 3/4 of an inch of rain can cause up to 7 feet of water to move through these canyons. And so why these are so dangerous is because of that. All that water, even though it's a very little amount, all funnels down into one area. This is that area. And when it comes through here, it comes in force. It's a very dangerous place to be. But they would do exactly what we're doing during the summertime. You know, 100, 110 degrees outside, 140 with the sand on your feet.
Yeah.
Into these canyons, they're never more than about 60 degrees. And so they stay really nice and cool. And they would have been a great place to hang out, get away from the heat. But it almost would have been taboo. It almost would have been like, probably not a good idea to be in there any longer than you had to be. Nowadays, we can tell for sure if there's going to be a storm coming. And so we can know a little bit better. But these places are still very sketchy sometimes, especially during a rainstorm. But your best view is not in front of you at the ground. It's up above you. So just watch your step. Not so important in this canyon. It's a lot of sand. But the next canyon we go to, it'll for sure be potentially rocky. This is what they call the Navajo Red sandstone. This canyon averages about 90 feet tall from top to bottom. And from the very mouth where we walked in to the very, very end, it goes about 3 miles. Got that handhold, good, good, yep. Now bring that arm up and over, bring your foot underneath you onto the wall behind you, and give yourself some balance, yeah. Now, just kind of bring that foot up and over. Amazing! This is the section that typically has water in it, and like, I've seen this whole section from like back there where you are, Steve, to here, like chest deep of water.
That's nuts.
Having to swim through this or fucking stem across chest deep water because you don't want to fall into it. In the valley that moved here during the 1820s, 30s, and 40s, coming out here to help develop the West as well as to like push that gold rush ideal. When they came out here and started building the families and building the areas, they explored just like we do. And this has been kind of a family tradition now for most, I won't say all of the families, most of the families here in town will have kids come up and bring stuff. But I mean, you can see even right here, 1957, 1985, 81.
Oh yeah, there are
40s.
dates on here.
There's a couple back over here, real small light ones on this wall that date back as far as 1840s and 50s.
You gotta have some balls to come through here without not knowing a damn thing back then.
You know,
Like the
those
balls
fucking
you have to
people
have
were
on you.
crazy. I mean, they had this idea that once they got out of here, they'd find it and make it rich and do it. And, you know, they didn't. But eventually their families come into something.
People
you know.
were a different breed back then. They
Oh,
didn't
gosh.
have all this shit. So like they've been doing that since they were walking.
Little kids going out and exploring. and
That's
doing
all they
stuff.
did. That's all they knew.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that would be
This
a
is
little
what
less.
most people do out here, honestly. Who knows how long ago? And it's just been there, and the erosion that's occurred underneath, it's made it look like a big old face. And it's just another. This canyon almost always is the best.
What's one this one's called?
This one's called Lower Red,
Okay.
or Lower Red Cave. So we'll see upper and lower today. But this is Lower Red Cave, and this one is privately owned. So everything from this canyon and about 1,600 acres that way, back to that fence line, is somebody's private land.
So because it's privately owned, the only way to access this is through you guys.
Is through us. We are essentially set up as the power of attorney for this canyon and the 6 acres that it sits on. And so we are here to help manage, maintain, protect, and allow people to come in and out of here and experience it in a managed way, not to monopolize the canyon, but to make sure that this canyon stays pretty. I mean, as we come into this canyon, you're going to notice one, no graffiti, no carvings, just like the last canyon had a bunch of them.
'Cause
This
it's
one
public.
you won't. And this one you're going to see lots of different colors. This wall right here is a great example of it. You'll see probably 40 different shades of color in this canyon today, between the reds, the whites, the pinks, the yellows, the oranges. We'll see purple sandstone today. In spots we'll see greenish red, blackish brown. We'll see some dark, heavy purple color today. This canyon has lots of different colors in it. You like the coral pinks? Oh, dude, they're fucking sick. They're sick. I was telling those guests just before we left, the dunes, we just opened up operations out there last year.
Oh, nice.
Now, you guys will get discounted prices on that tour. 23,
Recent.
this canyon flooded. There was a storm coming through the valley. It actually was coming from the north. And I was in here with a documentary team and a new guide, a brand new guide. He had been with us for like maybe 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. So, super new green, right? So we were in here, kind of in this area and a little bit more out there, but we were filming a dinosaur documentary. And as our day was going, the morning was nice and blue, sunny, kind of like this over here. But to the north, there was a storm, and we were tracking it, we were watching it, paying attention to where it was going. And the way that the radar was making it looked like it was going to head towards Zion and go kind of towards the Narrows and rain out the Narrows, which isn't necessarily a bad deal for us because it's on the other side of the 89. It doesn't even affect us. Well, that changed right around 12:31 o'clock. The wind changed, and that storm started to push, instead of pushing west, it started to push east, and it came and pushed right up on top of those big white cliffs above us. About 20 minutes into that, we had the temperatures go from about 80 degrees down to probably 55, 50 degrees. And there was a major hailstorm. We seen pea to dime to nickel size hail by the end of it coming down and hitting us. And at that point, I kind of started talking to the director and the editor and told them we're in a really bad place to be fucking around with a potential storm. And they were like, okay, well, what do you think we should do? And I said, well, I think we should get out. I think we should start packing up and leaving. And so I started grabbing machines, and the group started filming things. This is the video of that day. Let me pull it up for you guys. I'll show you. We were here at like noon, And you can see to the north, back the other way, it was kind of cloudy and gray, but otherwise, blue skies, semi-sunny, it was nice, 85 degrees, and then it dropped to about 55 degrees with the hail.
I can see the storm moving.
The storm moved in right on top of us. You'll see here in the next clip a big pile of
The hail.
hail.
It's just
And at that point, the directors and editors were trying to convince me to stay, and I told them, no, we gotta leave. We gotta figure out where we're going. And so I started grabbing machines and packing them up. I had the other green guy come in and help me get the rest of our stuff together. And there was 12 total people plus 2 guides, so 14. That's not enough seats in the machine. So I had to pack 6 people in the machines, all of the equipment that we had in the machine, and then put somebody on top of the equipment to get us out of the canyon. Because as we were leaving the canyon,
you can see
the headwater was chasing us. That's the very beginning of the flood. And every single gully that we washed through was flowing like somebody had opened up a water main. This was all within about 15 minutes of that storm moving in and the hail hitting. As we were leaving, not only did this canyon flood, but I knew that the canyon that we were just at was fucking for sure flooding.
Yeah.
So
Because it would have gotten hit first.
it was going to get hit. Whether it was, that one always fills with water.
Yeah.
So if this one was,
That one.
fucking for sure is, right? As we were going, that was all I could think of, and my green guy kept stopping so that people could take videos. And I'm thinking, oh my God, we're gonna fucking die in this canyon. Get out, go, go, go. A big lightning strike happened and struck a tree by us as we went by. And then this is gonna say a few minutes later in camp. It was probably about 5 minutes later, and a guy stayed back against my judgment to take this video. I didn't tell him to do this. He stayed back, and this is what he captured. That's where we were parked. That's all. That's the only thing we lost was our cooler with our lunch in it. This is coming right out where we were parked. Big waterfall just outside there. And then this is that corridor that we just walked through.
Oh, damn.
There's probably 7 or 8 feet of water moving through there right there.
How do you get out?
He wasn't in.
He was up above everything. He climbed up top where he was safe. We were not in a safe place.
No,
But you can see the storm.
Yeah.
And it went like this all the way across the big white cliffs up above us.
Dang.
That storm ended up dropping about 1.5 inches of rain. And the next day we came in to look at the canyon to check it.
Yeah.
And there's marks, we'll see them here about 25 feet high on the wall from that storm. And this rock was not here.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, did it come from?
This rock was put here by that flash flood. When that water came through
This
here,
big
it pushed
ol'-
this guy in.
Dang.
That's why it's one of those. It's like, if you're not the professional, take the professional's advice.
You know,
I'm not-
but the
I'm-
amount
if
of people
somebody's ever
that
like-
don't listen to the professionals
This is
is,
the thing, right? It's like kind of obvious. This floods. It's a narrow spot,
yeah.
and if the person that's paid to guide us through this shit is like,
Take care of you and
get
make
the fuck
sure
out of
you
here.
got
Yeah.
leave, it's time to go, right? I like to point out right here, if you sit up against this wall and look to this wall, you can see some of these big, it almost looks like somebody's filled a big bucket of paint, right? All these big drip marks. That's called desert varnish, and that happens during a rainstorm. If there's not enough rain to flood, it drips down the wall, and you'll see it everywhere in this canyon. And typically, it does this, it comes all the way down, right? This is post that flood. This line happened after that flood. You see where everything else stops?
Yeah.
And all these kind of gray speckles are?
Yeah.
That's how high the flood water was when it was working its way through here, about 10 to 12 feet, right here. As we come around this corner, I'll point out and show you a spot about 20-ish, 25 feet high, where the flood water was marking up the wall. Right here, see the speckles?
This is one of those cases of like, you don't understand volume until you're in it.
Oh yeah. Right up here is our high mark. See the gray and the speckles? That's about 25 feet. Right here, it's about 20 feet. But that's what happens when about 1.5 inches of rain comes down all in the right spot in this area. It's a pretty dangerous game to play.
It's like those perfect storm scenarios.
It was a bad deal, man. And to be honest, we were real lucky to get out. And we were real lucky to get out with everybody and everything.
Yeah. Except
your lunch.
Except your lunch, though.
Exactly.
Except for the lunch.
Except for the cooler.
I would have been like, bro, you could have grabbed that shit.
I'm willing to let that one go. I'm willing to let that one go.
I feel like you could have grabbed the lunch. You saw it?
That's one thing, that's a sacrifice. That's something I'm willing to give to the water gods. But this canyon, as you guys can tell, much, much taller than the last one. It's well over 250 feet pretty much the whole way through this guy. But this one stays dark because of the height, because of how deep we are. Even during the summertime, this spot right here, it's the darkest, and it's the only spot to get the brightest light during the summertime. This is the only bright one. Went up and dropped everybody off, then I came back down to go rescue that guy, and I couldn't because the water was too high. This had already started to flood and washed it out. So I was stuck between a flash flood and a potential fucking forest fire.
Yeah, 'cause I saw in the video it was smoking. Right?
Yep, it was smoking. That whole tree was burnt up, and like that was before we started mandating having the fire extinguishers. So I was just I was pulling sticks away and then taking handfuls of dirt and sand and throwing it on the fucking tree to get it to stop burning. But it was crazy. Who knows how long ago?
It just randomly stopped.
And it's just been there, and the erosion that's occurred underneath that's made it look like a big old face.